Hey, you guys. Welcome. Boss Conversations, another boss conversation. Welcome, everyone.
On track, now we going way up. Double use as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up, way up. Now we going way up, now we going. On track, now we going way up, way up. Now we going way up, now we going. Keep the same energy.
Hey. Welcome. We are on 4 different platforms tonight. Welcome to Boss Conversations, another conversation with Janeah. My guest today is Miss Christin Marie Nichols. I'm so happy to have her on here to talk about her business endeavors and her goals and dreams and all that good stuff. So, without any further ado, I'm definitely going to bring her up on the camera. Hello, Kristen.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It was a little mission to get here. I don't know what goes on with the technical gods, but they really like to mess with me. They really do. But thank you for being patient and encouraging me to just keep it on moving and come on.
Mhm.
So, you ready to get this interview done?
Yes.
All right.
Ready.
So, we are streaming on these different platforms. You'll be able to find them on this actual video be on all of the platforms on my page. So if you want to, send your people to them, that's how they could catch up, the ones that don't catch us today. So, what is your name and what is the name of your business?
Okay. My name is Christin Marie Nichols, and the names of my businesses, there's a swimwear line, which is called Kitten Swim, which we've expanded into men. So that's called King Swim. So it's Kitten and King Swim. And then I also have a second clothing line I do with my business partner, Courtney, and that's called 8889.
8889.
Yes.
Now, where'd you guys come up with that, with the 8889?
Well, I don't want to tell my age, but it's the years that we were born. Dang.
Well, I had to ask you, but you look good for your girl. You looking good for your age, so it's all good. You haven't, you've reached that point. You haven't reached a point yet where you should be scared to tell your age. Like you good.
Okay.
So the swimsuit you have on now, is that one of your swimsuits?
Yes, it is. This is one of the one pieces from last summer. We got some new ones coming out, but this is one of last summer's pieces.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what else do you do? Do you do any designing yourself, like the pieces, you design them?
Yes, everything. So I do I wish I had my sketches handy. I do all the sketching, the patterns, most of the sampling if I have time. And yeah, so the designs, pretty much almost everything from the ground up, from the start of the design process all the way through. The only thing that I don't do and we don't do is the production. So we won't do any of the like mass production, but we'll do the sampling and the everything else. Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been into fashion?
Since I've been interested in it since for as long as I can remember. I did my first fashion show when I was 7, modeling. And yeah, it was just something that for as long as I can remember, I've been into it.
Oh, wow. So are you still into modeling? Do you model?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Modeling is what I do full time. That is the bread and butter. That's my career. And then the businesses is supplementary. I still love it just as much. I'm just as passionate. They go hand in hand, modeling and fashion. So, yeah, I've been modeling full time. It's been 8 years full time. Getting into acting now, which is fun. But yeah.
So you said you first started modeling at 7. When
Mhm.
you did model at 7, do you recall like when you did, was there a feeling there where you like, this is what I want to do when I grow
Yeah.
up? I want to do this. This is my passion. Did it
Mhm.
start there?
It started there, yes. Just being on stage and in the clothes. I don't know. I felt like I was more like a shy child, kind of. But then being introduced to that and doing that, I was just kind of like, oh my God, like, I love this. And then being able to, at that age, you're still kind of like not really dressing yourself, but you kind of start to be like, well, see what you like and things like that. So I like that aspect of it. And then after that, kind of started learning what modeling and fashion was, because that's not something that's really introduced to kids at that age. So then start
Right.
learning about like Tyra Banks and things like that, and then it just continued to grow and grow and grow since then.
Speaking of Tyra Banks, so some years ago, you were
Mhm.
on America's Next Top Model, right?
Yes, I
Was
was.
that 2017?
I don't want to say when it was. I don't know. It was a long time ago. You just want to make me feel so bad.
Girl, I was so proud of you when you was on there. I was like, oh, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. Now, when you did the whole America's Next Top Model experience, because I know it's an experience, did you learn anything from that? Because we know you didn't make it to the end.
Mhm.
You made episodes, so you at least made the cut to be on it.
Yeah.
What did you learn anything from that experience?
Yes, I would say that was probably my first real industry experience in like the modeling world. I learned that it's a lot more business than it is dreams, if that makes sense. Like I went into it with the like this kind of like, oh my gosh, like my dreams are about to come true, which you should still feel that. But it was a reality check for sure, because at the end of the day, it was still a reality show. But so I think that's the part that kind of like threw me for a loop. Um, so I learned that. I learned, how do I put this? It's not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But after that, it helped me to take kind of that mindset into other situations that I went into, and to not be so like, I don't know, to be more like realistic about things and not so
Okay.
like, you know, but
So do
yeah.
you think that also, like, when you went through that experience, was that a transition in your career, even like, because it really was kind of the start of the modeling career time frame as well? Was
Mhm.
that a transition that taught you to focus more so on the business side but still chase your passion?
Hmm. Yes, I would say it was a good transition. Had I not done it, I don't think I would have gotten into it as quickly. And I think I would have been blindsided by a lot of things that the show opened my eyes to really, really quickly. So
Oh, good, good.
yeah.
They popped the cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they popped that modeling cherry. But it's good because you've been in the game for a long time since then. And can you imagine all of the boo-boos you might have had you not known, what you learned there? So that's good.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're starting to act. How did you get into acting? How did that come about?
So the thing about modeling is there isn't too much longevity as of right now in strictly fashion modeling. They always want a new look or a new face and a certain age bracket, and things are becoming a lot more inclusive now age-wise, but still in anything, like you really can't ever be a one-trick pony. So if you're out here, you're in the industry, um, it kind of goes hand in hand naturally. You still have to be like good at it, but when you start to kind of like navigate the different types of modeling, it can naturally lead to acting, and that's what has happened. And I love it. I love acting, and it's really fun. It's different. It's an experience, but yeah, from modeling, it kind of naturally took that turn. Still doing both, but yeah.
Now, you just talked about the longevity in modeling, and I've
Mhm.
heard quite a few models say the same thing in different interviews when they talk about starting their own makeup line or lip gloss and different fashion trends, their own lines, because they talk about sustaining income after they have, pretty much aged out of the whole modeling industry. Has there ever been a point with you where you kind of like got scared and thought, I have to go to a 9 to 5, I need to get a regular job? Or, are you just dead set on, I'm going to make a living through my passion, whichever way I have to make it?
When I first moved to LA right after Top Model, I was kind of nervous about not being able to sustain myself strictly with modeling. So I did get a 9 to 5, and I was working a 9 to 5 for about 2 years. And then eventually, I just quit because I'm just like, I didn't want that safety net anymore. And it's just kind of like, you're never going to feel all the way ready. You kind of just have to do it. So gave myself a timeline, a deadline, and I just did it, and then things were fine. But the thing about this industry is it's very up and down. So there are times where it's like, damn, things are like really, really good. Like I'm set. And then there's times where it's just like literally nothing, and you don't know when is your next job or where it's going to come from and things like that. So that's always in the back of your head. It's good to know you can if you need to, but I personally wouldn't, if unless I like had to. But also being in this world, you kind of find different venues to like, create multiple streams of income. So it's like if one thing isn't popping off, you can kind of like divert to do something else. But it's always going to be like, for me, I'm gonna try to do as many different things as I can before I have to revert back to having to go back to a job, because that was like
Right. Okay. So, how was your transition moving from Chicago to LA? I know when I was a flight attendant, I used to always talk about how flying to LA, them people is some whole different type of people, because a lot of them live like in a movie set world all day. They think they on the movie set, but they not. And it's not even the people who acting. It's just like it's a lot of extraness that goes on there. Like, how was your transition moving from Chicago to LA? Are you extra too along with it? Did you fit in or did you have to adjust?
I mean, I'm a little extra, but I'm not a diva, and I'm not like Hollywood, but it's a lot of interesting characters out here. But what's crazy is LA is like a mixing pot. People from everywhere come to LA to pursue different kind of dreams. So when you get the people who are extra or turn Hollywood and start acting all funny, most of the time they're not even LA natives. So like the LA natives, the Cali natives, they all be like super cool. And then it's just the weird ones are usually from other places. And I think people don't really like realize that. They're just like, oh, LA is so fake or so this or so that. But the LA people are actually like real cool. And then the transition was pretty smooth because Brittany, my sister, was already out here first, and she's a writer. So she came out here, and that's kind of what kick started me to be like, oh, why am I not out there too? So then that, and then having cousins here, and then you kind of find that once you do something and then like other people see like, oh, it's okay to do too, and they make the jump too. And so to be people coming from Chicago too, and even if I didn't know them in Chicago, but having that like mutual, that thing in common, you kind of get to know them and feel like you have a piece of home, with you here too. So that made the transition easier. And then you just kind of naturally stray away from the people that don't really like feed your energy like that. So like the extraness and like the acting all Hollywood and bougie and stuff. Like if you want to be around that, you can find plenty of people to do that. But you just kind of like, you are what you attract. So if you're not that, like, you're gonna encounter it, but you don't have to like be around it.
What's a common misconception people have of you?
Ooh, okay. I think people assume I'm a lot more social than I actually am. And I think that's another common misconception of social media. You see one thing and you think like it's all of this, but the way that I'm a hermit in my house is like, I think a lot of people, they don't expect that. So then when they get to know me and then they see like how I'm not as
Reserved
accessible
you are?
as they think I am, yeah, and I'm a little more reserved and I'm not out all the time as it might look like I am. And then they're kind of like, oh, I thought you were X, Y, Z. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you were a quiet child.
Yeah.
And you guys, for the interview, I am Kristen's older cousin and very much older than her. So when she was a baby, I was holding her arms. I'm very much older than her. And yes, you were a very reserved kid. 'Cause you got some lit brothers and sisters, you know. How many of you guys are there?
A lot, too many.
Yeah, right. And FYI, for those of you that are tuning in, next week I will be interviewing one of her younger brothers who is an author, and we're going to talk about him becoming an author at such a young age. And next month, I'm going to be interviewing her sister, Brittany, who is a writer on this fabulous show that some of you may heard of called Abbot Elementary. Okay. So there's some big deal kids going on, sibling things going on over here. I'm so proud of you guys as all of, you guys are all entrepreneurs or business savvy people. Kristen's been in the game for a minute. I mean, Brittany's been in the game for a minute. So have you. And
Mhm.
so big up to you on that, little cousin. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see Kitten and King and 88, 89?
Okay. Well, I see it where hopefully I can be a lot less hands on. As you heard me say, I do a lot of the everything from the sketches, the designing, the sampling. I build the websites. I take the pictures most times, edit them. I mean, that's part of being an entrepreneur and things starting up. But I see a team being able to take over that stuff and being on like a lot much larger platforms where we can kind of like, that's another thing you kind of struggle with being a small business and an entrepreneur is getting it in front of the right people. So hopefully it can be on bigger platforms and maybe like in stores. I'm kind of seeing that, but just something to kind of like continue, just amplify what we're doing now as far as the business stuff. And then for modeling and acting, I'm hoping to, let's see, be a series regular on a show. That would be really dope. That's a huge, I think that's every actor's goal in LA or anywhere. If you're acting, series regular is what's up. Even probably more than like being in like a movie. A series regular is like the ultimate goal. So a series regular and then being able to like direct booked and be like offer only. So meaning not having to like audition so much because I don't think people realize how much we have to like audition and do all that stuff like all the time. The ratio to auditioning to booking is
Actually getting
so,
booked.
yeah, it's so crazy. So
And the competition is steep, especially when you break down and when you're broken down into a category, and people don't realize that as well. This has nothing really to do with race, but it has to do with race. When it comes to African American woman, if they're looking for an African American woman, like your competition is bananas. It's bananas and then it isn't all at the same time. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because they have a certain look that they want. And so there's going to be millions of people who audition and take up slots who are just not the look that they want. And
Mhm.
then you might be the look that they want, but you might not know the right person,
Mhm.
So there's always, all these different little factors that go on in the background. So shout out to you for still hanging in there with that, because yeah, people have to do millions of auditions before even getting a book or being considered. Sometimes you have to come back and redo the auditions.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to come back and do them with one of the other cast members, and doesn't work out because y'all didn't mesh. It's a lot
Right.
of factors. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors. So it's good, just for people who are looking to go that route, to know a couple of things about it.
So you
How
know
do you,
so much about it.
girl, my major was film and video, and it was theater and film
I
and video. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, that was my major. So I used to do them
Oh,
auditions and stuff too.
mm,
Um, 20
you're
years
so.
ago. A long time ago. A long time ago. But so yeah, I do know about all those different factors. And some people really think like, you have the black women in Hollywood who are the go-to women, and they're your top competition. You just
Mhm.
better hope they don't want one of them. You might be
Exactly.
in the game if they don't want one of them. But if
Mhm.
they want one of them, they're gonna go with them because they know they're gonna sell tickets. So
Right.
it's a cruel game, and you got to stay on point. So people, if that's your goal, what y'all looking for, just make sure you know that it's you about to be out there like may the odds be in your favor. Okay. Is them type of Hunger Games out there up in LA, New York, now Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Shout out to Tyler Perry for making Atlanta a mini Hollywood, putting a lot of people on the screens. That's a dope thing. How do you define success?
Ooh, how do I define success? Mm. Me personally, I would say being successful means being able to accomplish the things that you set out to accomplish and being content with what you've done. And for me, that would extend beyond myself, and it would be to being able to not only improve my life but improve the quality of life of others.
What do you think are the qualities of a successful entrepreneur?
Okay. To be a successful entrepreneur, first you have to be consistent. You have to find your niche and and stick to it. You have to be disciplined for sure. And you have to have ingenuity. You have to be able to constantly not conform, but be able to change and get creative and think of different ways to market yourself and your product in ways that are going to make you stand out from everybody else.
Dope, dope, dope.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about it. That definitely was all of our questions. Yeah, so she has the swim line. Wait, 8889. Now, Kitten and King is the swim line, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's men and women's swimwear. But what type of clothing is 8889?
That's women's clothing. It's gonna be elevated pieces. So we are not a boutique. We're still ground up. Everything we do is made in LA. And they're gonna be on trend styles, but like definitely elevated. So not something you can just like go pick up anywhere. Uh, so yeah.
Okay, cool. So in your actual flyer that I used, your picture for Boss Conversation, the flyer, the
Mhm.
burgundy outfit that you had on, did you design that?
Yeah, me and Courtney designed that. Yeah.
Okay, you and your business partner with 8889.
Yes.
Okay, that's a dope little outfit. It looks really good. Now,
Thank
you
you.
have the body for it, but the
Thanks.
thing is, in this time and age, it doesn't matter because the women who have and don't have the body for it will put it on. So,
Right.
you know, it is a great time to actually be able to, come out with things like that. I
And we
did
have
not
more options. So.
have. Oh Lord, I did not. I didn't. You didn't get to see all of the comments that are on here, so I just actually put the chat up. So
Ooh.
Amber, Dana, Tanis, quite a few people said hello. I
Hi.
just want you to know they said hello. As you see, Dana said you will achieve all of this, niece. So that's awesome.
Yay. I hope
Amber
so.
says she loves 88, 89. So you guys, I'm sorry. I didn't have the chat overlay on because I had us on full screen. So we do see you guys there. Thank you for the comments. Great interview, Kristen. I want to make sure I got everything. Now, where can the people find you? Where can they find your clothing lines and websites and all that stuff? And if somebody needs to book you, wants to book you for a job, where can they find you?
So, the easiest way would if you go to my Instagram, the link in my bio has a drop down of everything from 8889 to Kitten to my modeling and acting resume, my contact, my IMDb, where you can find out my agency information if you want to reach out to my agent, my manager. And yeah, so everything is there. So my Instagram is Christin_Marie. So CHRISTIN_Marie. MARIE. Yeah.
All right, Kristen. I can't wait until another 10, 15 years when they're doing an autobiography of Christin Marie Nichols and we get to see all the different things that you've done. You've really done a lot. You keep yourself busy. So thank God. I'm so glad that God keeps those jobs coming for you because you do get booked pretty often, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That means you're good at what you're doing, and people that word of mouth is traveling, and people feel safe and comfortable knowing that when they book you, they're going to get what they see because it's all about you producing what they envision.
Mhm.
So, shout out to you for being able to hold steadfast with things like that. Good
Thank
luck with all your endeavors, Cuzzy. I am super proud of you. You make the whole family proud.
you.
I'm
Oh,
glad you stuck to your dreams. I don't think any of us really knew what you were gonna do after top model.
I
Like
didn't.
around that time, it was like, is she gonna keep going or
Yeah.
not? And shout out to you for keeping going. Like you never stop. And don't take your foot off the gas, cause it's worth it. It's
Okay.
definitely worth it.
Thank you.
Do you have any last little nuggets or gems you want to drop on the people before we get out of here?
Um, just like you said, keep going. Don't be afraid to do it. And you're never going to feel ready to do something. You have to just do it, or you'll never do it. So just go for it.
Good thing to end off on. All right, cousin. Well, thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming on and having this conversation with me. I love you.
Love
Be
you
safe
too.
out there in LA. I look forward to talking to you again in a year or so and really talk about, what you have going on then, what new feature film you're going to be in, or whatever role you sustain, all of that. I'm going to put all that in the air. So I can't wait to bring you back on and talk about your new recurring role on whatever
Yes.
show you're gonna be on.
Okay.
All right, cuz love you. Bye
Love
bye.
you too. Bye.
All right, you guys. Another boss conversation. Thank you guys for chiming in. I'm on 4 days this week. I have R&B, Chicago R&B legend Fabian Soul coming on tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking to him, which is going to be great. So you guys chime in with me tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think 8 or 7. I have to check the flyer, but nevertheless, I'll be back tomorrow.